Hey, welcome, 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 welcome. We are talking about oils and emotions today. I love this topic because it is one of the first things that helped me understand why I thought the way I did, how to process through it, and really ultimately how to retrain my brain, and then to give my kids resources to help them process through emotions that they were having or specific issues that they were dealing with. So when we talk about, a lot of times when we talk about essential oils, we're talking about a holistic approach. So more than just using essential oils to solve every single problem, that's not the case, okay? So we look at a holistic approach. So when we're using oils for emotional support, it's actually looking at supporting our brain, helping us to retrain a thought, giving us a tool so that our body can work better. There are different things that we can use. Essential oils and emotions go hand in hand, okay? Our bodies are smart, and essential oils are smart. So when the two pair together, it actually makes for a really sweet combo, and it works really, really awesome in our bodies. And a lot of times, we don't even have to know exactly what to do with the oils for them to work in our body, right? So with emotions, we actually have 3 different brains in our body, okay? So the first is our brain. This is where we have our intellect, where we have 90% of our behavior. It's directed from our brain. It's quick. It thinks quickly. It thinks logically. It thinks, kind of this straight line type of thing. And, you've heard, I'm waiting for my heart to catch up with my mind or something like that, right? Because our brain is just pretty much like, this is what you do and here's how it works, okay? So then we have our heart, and this is our intuition. And there's tons of times in our lives where we have that little nudge. We have, maybe you saw your spouse or you saw somebody from across the room and you just knew that would be your spouse long term, or that would be, your best friend for life, or you walk into a room and you have this nudge in there that says that person's bad news, or this isn't a good situation, or whatever it is, okay? So that's your intuition. And our intuition plays into a lot of things. And the beautiful thing about this whole quarantine time is I feel like people's intuitions are able to speak more clearly and loudly because we're slowing down. I feel like our intuition needs us to have a slower pace in order for us to actually listen. I know for myself, when I get into just the normal day, time is short and we're working, on a quick pace, trying to get all the things done, go all the places, and that leaves little room for our intuition to actually have a lot of say. So I'm loving this kind of slow down just for that part of it. But there are actually more neural pathways that run from your heart to your brain, than from your brain to your heart, which means that your heart actually does have some thought process, some feeling in there, right? It's not just an organ pumping blood to the rest of your body, okay? And then we have the third mind, which is your gut. 90% of your body's serotonin, which is involved in mood management, is produced in your gut. Serotonin is believed to be a chemical messenger that acts as a mood stabilizer. Also, when we pump our gut full of toxins that are in our foods, in our medicine, in our all sorts of environmental threats, when that inhibits our gut, it ends up staying there and kind of collecting on the gut. And we end up doing damage to our whole entire body based on what is being housed in the gut. So if you take care of your gut, that is, I think, one of the number one places to start. And if you dive deeper into the whole natural thought process, that's one of the biggest things that you want to cleanse first is your gut, so that you can start to heal, start to support the rest of your body, okay? So let's move on to how, are all of those kind of help process through. Hey, Emily. So when we have a life experience, and this was me, I actually have a little handout, and you can get this if you type in essential emotions. It's share success paperwork. You can find that. I might link it up to you guys afterwards. But it's funny that this girl in the description is holding a baby, dog's barking at her, she's talking on the phone, just a lot of noise, right? And as a mom, back when I started using essential oils, I had a lot of noise around, right? I had 3 kids. I was babysitting an extra. I had 2 dogs. I had, a new house and acreage that we were taking care of, trying to start this business, and was coming off of, my youngest was about 18 months, but that's when you reach a certain age for a woman, and when you reach a certain post-nursing, post-babies, your body's going through a lot. So whoever you are and whatever circumstance you're in, just knowing that you are going through this weird phase of quarantine, 60 days in, 60 plus days, that is enough weirdness to know that your body is going through some stuff, okay? And a lot of noise. So most of the time when I would process that noise, it would come out with getting irritated, it would come out with getting frustrated over little things that didn't matter, and I would definitely feel overwhelmed. And I would repeat the process. So every time that something happened, it would cause me to feel overwhelmed, cause me to feel irritated, panicked, whatever, okay? When essential oils came into my life, so let's back up a second. With when I would process that overwhelm, what would happen is I might get a little tension in my shoulders and my neck. I might get, my head might start pounding, because all of the emotion that you're feeling actually triggers physical responses in your brain, in your body as well, right? So when we get scared, it triggers chemical responses of fight or flight, a nervousness in our gut, kind of tightening in our gut, those kinds of things. And then after you experience that over and over again, that becomes your belief about the situation. So my belief, whether you meant to or not, was that, or whether I meant to or not, was that every time something like that happened, that I knew my body would feel overwhelmed. And so that's what I started to believe, was that those situations were overwhelming and that I couldn't process them and that I had too much going on or whatever. Okay, so that was my belief system. So along come essential oils. And what I learned and what I'm teaching you guys is now when I have an overwhelming situation, when I'm feeling tense, when I'm feeling too much noise, when something's irritating me, when you're driving in the car and you feel road rage, when, I don't know, so there's lots of different things, okay? So with essential oils, you're taking a step back, you're calming down for a second, you're saying, okay, I recognize that right now I'm being triggered, something is bothering me, okay? And so I stop, I get out my oils, and one of my favorites right now is Adaptive. I'm gonna breathe it in, and I'm gonna breathe deep out, okay? So breathe in deep, and let it out. And I might close my eyes. I might do that 4 or 5 times. So some deep, deep breaths in and out. I'm going to breathe this oil. And I might apply it to my body too. I might take it and put it in my palm and rub my palms together. Breathe it in that way. I might rub it on my body. And then I'm going to try to rephrase what I'm feeling. So instead of internalizing and saying I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm going to say, I can handle this. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful that I have a job to commute to if you're feeling road rage. Whatever it is that you are feeling negatively, you're going to reverse it and have a positive phrase for it, okay? And so what happens is, this is a good analogy, okay? So when you are watching, like say there's a dog in fenced-in backyard that lives right on the corner of 2 busy streets, okay? And so every time, yes, ma'am, it's adaptive. And I'll talk more about these oils in just a second too, okay? So every time that you let that dog outside to go run in the yard, because he's been trained, or in his brain he's been trained, he runs the fence the whole time, okay? Trying to see what's going on with the traffic, with the people walking by, all of that kind of stuff, okay? So he is wearing a path along the fence line, and he's wearing the grass out. And you're sitting there going, okay, this is not good. Like, he's gonna wear it to the dirt. When it rains, it gets muddy. You know, we don't like that. So we wanna retrain him so that he uses the whole yard, so that he stops just running the fence line, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, with that dog, every time I call him in, because right now, every time I call him inside, he runs that fence line all the way to the porch, okay? So I'm gonna put his food, or I'm gonna go out into the middle of the yard and call him in. So he has to walk through the grass. So over time, you guys get where I'm going with that. Over time, you are training that dog to use the rest of the yard. You put his food out in the middle of the yard, so he starts to go through the grass, and he's like, oh, okay, there's stuff there. Or you plant a couple bushes in strategic spots along the fence line where he normally would run over and over. So you're retraining him to not run that fence line, to actually use the yard, to run the whole area of the yard. So that's what we're doing in our brain. We're actually retraining our brain to think through a situation. Every time that I feel overwhelmed, I know that I take a deep breath, I step back in the situation, and I grab my favorite oil. And that oil, even to this day, my oil back then was Balance, and even to this day, when I grab Balance, it immediately is calming. I can just open it up and sniff it out of the cap, and it's just super calming to my body. But then it's also triggering my body's chemical responses so that it is balancing out whatever is in an imbalance going on, okay? So that's what happens when you're using oils in this way to retrain your brain. When you smell it, that's actually one of the fastest ways to get these oils in, directly out of the bottle, right? This way, if you can take it internally, that's a super great way, applying it to your skin. I use all 3 all the time, all day long. But when you smell an oil, it actually, you guys know that your olfactory nerve, you smell that through your olfactory nerve, and it triggers your limbic system to then give these responses all over your body, send messages all over your body. So it's a really fast way to use an oil to actually do something internally inside your body. Okay, so some of the oils that I wanted to talk to you about, because they're so good for our emotions, is one of them is Adaptive, which I talked about. And Adaptive is a new blend that came out last September. Again, it's a blend of oils, and I'm gonna pull it up because I always forget at least one oil that's in the blend. But you can get it in this 15 ml bottle, you can get it in a roller bottle, you can get it in these capsules, or in like the 3-pack with all of them together, which is what I would suggest. So the oils that are in Adaptive are wild orange, which is honestly like the cheapest and also one of the most fast acting oils for your mood. It's an immediate, super quick mood booster. It's got antioxidants in it. It's got that, I mean, a citrus oil, there's a reason that they put citrus oils in lots of different things, and why you get a smile on your face when you use a citrus oil, because it's so powerful, okay? It's nature's mood booster. And then lavender and magnolia are in here. They are super high in the linalool content, which is a chemical that is super helpful for your brain, for anxious feelings, for overwhelm, for boosting your mood, all of those kinds of things. Copaiba is in here, which we talk a lot about copaiba, and that was another one that I wanted to go further into, so I'm going to come back to that. Spearmint, I love it. There's so much about spearmint. Rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. Neroli is kind of an underused oil that is becoming more and more popular in my world. And so when you use this, there's actually lots of science that doTERRA has already done on Adaptive. You can scroll their pages and look for that. But it actually helps our bodies to have this toolbox, per se, to help us stay balanced, to help us with this synergistic calming in our body. And it's been proven to help people focus, to help people with anxious thoughts, for a mood enhancer, all of that, okay? Copaiba it's similar in the way that it works in the body to CBD, but it's not the same plant at all. Copaiba is actually a blend of some trees that are found in the Amazon, and it's a resin that comes from that tree. If you think of the Amazon, you think of what grows there and how much power and how much life is there. A lot of times the oils actually do the same things in your body. So not that it gives you life, or it's the living water or whatever, but it is amazing because it's kind of like it's kind of like frankincense. It's when in doubt, you can use copaiba. So it's going to be good for your mood. It's going to be good for basically from head to toe, your mind, your heart, your nervous system, your immune response, your circulatory system, your cardiovascular, which I said was your heart. It's good for any type of muscle or joint aches. It is good for definitely what we are talking about for emotions. It's good on your brain. So very calming. It helps level things out. It helps support inflammation levels, and you can actually have inflammation in your brain as well, which causes a lot of other imbalances in your body. So if you are able to support your body with a natural, something that will naturally help balance things out, then the imbalance is gone or lessens, right? Okay. And then I wanted to talk about some other oils that are in this beautiful kit called the Respond Kit. So the reason that we're chatting about some of those specific oils, and I'll post some graphics up here on Instagram after we're done. I know in this on Facebook I'll post some graphics as well. So doTERRA offers this month, limited time offer while supplies last, 2 kits. And so today we're talking about the Respond Kit, but they are discounted 10% off the wholesale price. So when you get a membership with doTERRA, you get 25% off for the year as a customer. Like no strings attached, absolutely no strings attached. And these two kits actually are offering 10% off of the wholesale price. So it's even more discounted. But the Respond kit I think is actually really helpful for our emotions as well. So you've got Adaptive in there and you've got copaiba. And then you've got other oils in there like frankincense, lavender, peppermint, lemon, and breathe. And honestly, when you pair all of these, you don't have to use them all at the same time. But lemon, peppermint, frankincense, all really good for focus, for honing in on a task. A lot of times when we're feeling that emotional overwhelm, we can't actually focus in on a task. That's why we're getting so overwhelmed, because our brain just won't focus in. Lemon, peppermint, frankincense, copaiba, all are, even Adaptive, are all really great oils to help you focus in on something, and then you feel less overwhelmed. Or if you have problems sleeping, you tend to get overwhelmed, you tend to get anxious, your brain is just on overload all the time, right? If you can give your body some essential oils that help with that balancing process and help with that supportive process in your body, all of that anxious thoughts, that overwhelm, emotions, they tend to dissipate or grow less, at least because of it's helping with the balancing process, right? So some other benefits are if you're using things like lavender, peppermint, copaiba, frankincense for any discomfort that you feel in your body, when you can deal with helping with the discomfort, helping with the supporting your inflammation levels, some of that mood, the negative mood that we feel, can also level out or leave as well. Sorry. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat apparently. All right. So those are some of the ones that I wanted to make sure that I chatted with you guys about. And just to give you a quick overview of what oils can and emotions can, how they can play together. I think it's time for me to go, to be done with this class. But what I wanted to make sure that I left you with was that this is a flyby overview class. It's just to give you a little tidbit of information to help you understand how much is available to you. Now, I do offer private Zoom classes, and so we'll have one of those coming up next Thursday night at 7. And if you want to actually dive a little bit deeper into understanding what these oils will do, even beyond emotions, there's so much more to it, I would love to personally invite you to that. So just send me a DM if you want the link for that. If I can get you a sample ahead of time, I will love to do that. And it's no strings attached. It's just come and learn more and see if this could help with whatever situation you're going through. Okay? Thanks for joining today. Have a great afternoon, and we'll chat later. Bye.